Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So if you do consider dropping likes, and if you do consider subscribers to the channel as always. So as it has been officially confirmed today that Ander Herrera will be leaving Manchester United at the end of the season. Quite disappointing indeed, to be quite honest with you, because obviously we do know Ander Herrera has just recently got back into the team after he'd been injured for quite a while. But yeah, he's expected to join PSG on a 25 million contract. I think it is a 4-year deal. He has agreed with PSG. Obviously, the personal terms have been agreed, and I think he's set to earn around 150 or 160,000 pounds a week. When he does go to Paris Saint-Germain. It's very, very disappointing. As I did say, I really, really highly rate Ander Herrera. He's been very, very good in that midfield for Manchester United, and he's been a really, really good servant to the club. He's been a good loyal servant. He's been at Manchester United 5 seasons. Of course, he's made 189 appearances for the club. During his tenure here, he's won the Europa League with us, he's won the League Cup with us, and he has won the FA Cup with us as Ander Herrera. But it did say basically, that Manchester United, were locked in contract negotiations with Ander Herrera. But reportedly, it did allegedly say that Ander Herrera was demanding around £200,000 a week for Manchester United. But reportedly, Manchester United were not willing to meet his £200,000 a week wage demand. So it has been officially confirmed today he's going to be joining Paris Saint-Germain at the end of the season. I think he's expected to join them on a £25 million contract, but it's very, very disappointing. And Ander Herrera is now 29, so he is aging up, but he's been a very, very good servant to Manchester United. Obviously, Manchester United got him from Atletico Bilbao in 2014 under the Louis van Gaal era. I think we just paid under £30 million for him, so this is bad business, from Manchester United. We're letting him go on a 3, because analysing it, when Ander Herrera has been participating mainly in our games, the majority of them games, we have won, when Ander Herrera has been playing. But when he sustained that injury, he was out with injury, for quite a while. Everything, seemed to go all wrong, and it just proves how much of an impact, Ander Herrera, does make in that midfield. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, main first choice midfield trio is obviously, Herrera, Pogba, Matic. But obviously, he's had to rotate that. Obviously, with the amount of injuries, that Manchester United have currently had. So now Ander Herrera, of course, is leaving. Obviously, we're going to need a replacement for him. But don't get me wrong, he's been a fantastic servant to the club, and I do believe he'll do very, very well when he goes to Paris Saint-Germain. He'll be a good addition in their team. But we could get a midfielder, that's actually better than Ander Herrera. That's because Ander Herrera, he's not worth £200,000 a week. But it has been confirmed today that he's going to be leaving the club at the end of the season. I'm very, very disappointed, and I know we are expected to orchestrate a big summer clear out, but he shouldn't have been one of them players added onto that list, because we do know how much an essential player Ander Herrera is. He breaks up the play very, very well. He's got a lot of tenacity about his playing. He's a good ball playing midfielder. So yeah, he's going to be going to Paris Saint-Germain, which is very, very disappointing. Saying about it though, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is obviously he's worked out his transfer strategy for this summer, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to sign young players, that can last many years at Manchester United, just like Ronaldo did, just like Wayne Rooney did, and so he's not intending on bringing any short-term players in. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he wants, and I think he wants to bring some young players, that can grow, develop, and and emulate into superstars. Because I did say it's not all about getting the Galactico players. It's not all about spending a big on players, because that doesn't always guarantee you success. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was talking, back was it last week, saying he'll have his final say on our summer transfer plans. What players come in and what players go. And I think he still believes, as he did say, we can attract players to the highest level, even though we're not in a Champions League football for next season. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think's been having quite a few meetings, discussing about our transfer strategy, what recruitment Manchester United should bring in this summer, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is looking to bring at least 5 new additions to the club this summer. He's going to get a spending spree of around £250 million. Obviously, as we all do know, Mike Phelan has been appointed the assistant manager on a 3-year deal, but initially Mike Phelan was actually linked with a technical director's role at Manchester United, but I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer preferred him to be the assistant manager. But I think we've got to get a director of football in, obviously, before the start of next season, to change the structure of the club. So we do need a structural change of the club, and obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to need backing this summer. But I know it seems to have all gone wrong, since he has got the job permanently. It's all gone wrong. We've only won 2 of our last 11 games in all competitions, and yeah, but reflecting back when he's the interim manager in his first 3 months, the results were good, the performances were good, he was getting the best out of these players, and he exceeded them expectations. And now he's got the job permanently on a 3-year deal. He has, on a 3-year deal, obviously in this 3-year period, he's got to exceed expectations. But as I did say yesterday on one of my videos, I think we're at least a couple of years off, from mounting a title challenge up, and I do believe in the next couple of years our aspirations, of course, is going to be that top four. But he's identified the positions where he thinks Manchester United need to strengthen up. Obviously now with Herrera leaving, we're going to need a replacement for him, but I think we need a right back, we need a central defender, we need 3 new additions in that midfield. I think we need a right winger, I think we need a striker, someone that can score goals, because we've been lacking goals. We haven't been scoring enough goals, we haven't been ruthless enough in front of goal, and we haven't been clinical enough in front of a goal, of course. So as I did currently say, Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team, of course, because none of this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, and I do know we've been playing catch up for the last 5-6 years, since Alex Ferguson retired, because obviously we know we've had different managers with different philosophies, a lot of money has been invested into the club, but this is none of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team, so basically, he's still in the process of rebuilding. Obviously, we've got to get the right recruitment this summer, because analysing our recruitment policy, it is very, very poor indeed, so we've got to get the right recruitment this summer. And as I did say, it's not always about getting the Galactico players, it's not always about spending big on players, as Manchester United have got a history of. We've paid £75 million for Lukaku, we paid £89 million for Paul Pogba, so that doesn't always guarantee you to get you to the next level, where you do currently want to be. But yeah, we're not going to win the title for at least a couple of years. We're not even going to mount a title challenge up, I don't think, for at least a couple of years. So I think our aspirations in the next couple of seasons will be that top four. But as I did say, I know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer hasn't got a great managerial pedigree to the highest level, hasn't really got the experience of a manager, did have it as a player, but I'm still backing him for now, because as I did say, I know there's some Manchester United fans demanding him out, reflecting on our poor results and performances, but as I did say, we've still got to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the chance, to rebuild this summer, and we've got to be ruthless in this summer transfer window, but we've still got to give him time, because we haven't got the structure, to keep sacking managers, and I will be critical of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer next season if it does start to all go wrong. And obviously we know Manchester United, were linked with Pochettino, for quite a while, and I know Pochettino hasn't won out in terms of silverware, but he's done a really, really good job at Tottenham. He's well proven in the Premier League. He's got a good squad. He's got a good squad as Pochettino, and Pochettino, he's done really, really well with Tottenham. As I said, he's got them to their first Champions League final, of course, but he hasn't won out in terms of silverware, so he hasn't got a great pedigree in terms of winning any silverware, because he hasn't achieved any silverware, but he's got a great chance of winning the Champions League as Pochettino, but I don't see it happening. He signed a 5-year deal with Tottenham last summer, so if, when Man United were considering getting Pochettino in, obviously Manchester United would have had to pay a fee to recommend Pochettino to come in of around 35 or 40 million pounds, because as I said, he signed a 5-year contract last summer, but Manchester United wanted to hire Pochettino in for a very, very long time, and he was our number one to recommend to come in Pochettino, but he's well Premier League proven. This is his 5th season now at Tottenham, as I did say, I think he's won over 100 odd games for Tottenham. Obviously, he had a good tenure with Southampton when he was there. I think he only had a short tenure with Southampton, didn't reach Pochettino, but Man United were considering hiring him for a long time. But yeah, I'm very, very disappointed, about the Ander Herrera news. We shouldn't have really let him go, especially on a free transfer, because you can say it's £29 million thrown down the drain, but as I did say, he's been a very, very good servant to the club, as Ander Herrera, of course. But as I did say, we have to, we should play him against Cardiff, give him a send off, of course. Ander Herrera, he should be playing the full 90 minutes against Cardiff. But talking about the Cardiff game, obviously, we've got to play the youngsters against Cardiff, drop the problematic players, give the youngsters the opportunity, because it is essential what team Ole Gunnar Solskjaer selects for the game tomorrow. Obviously, it's the final game this season, but as I said, it's essential what team Ole Gunnar Solskjaer selects tomorrow, because quite recently his team selections have been wrong, his tactics have been very, very questionable, so you can blame Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in that aspect. But yeah, we've got to give the youngsters a chance tomorrow, because with nothing to play for, top four's gone, we're not in a Champions League football for next season. We're coming up against an opposition, of course, that's already relegated in Cardiff City. So yeah, we've got to play the youngsters tomorrow. Play Mason Greenwood, give him the chance. He's an upcoming future, being very, very impressive for the reserves. Player Chon, he looked very, very impressive when he came up when he came on against Huddersfield. He's an upcoming future. And there's been talks that Angel Gomez and James Garner, could also be involved in their also upcoming future. So yeah, maybe give them the opportunity. Diego Dalot, definitely play him at right back. Diego Dalot is the upcoming future, only 19, 20 years of age, and we've definitely got to drop Ashley Young for tomorrow. Ashley Young, I think should be one of the players that's leaving in the summer, but I think he's one of the unlikely players that's going to leave in the summer. I don't think he will leave in the summer. I think Manchester United will wait till his 1-year extension has expired. Then I think that's when Ashley Young will leave the club. But he is the main factor of the problem at Manchester United, because I don't know why he keeps getting selected to start with, and He's been here, 7-8 years now. He's past his sell-by date, and but he was a good winner back in the day, was Ashley Young, and he has been a good servant to the club. I've admired his fantastic career, Ashley Young's, but as I did say, he does currently need to be dropped, and we do need to put Diego Dalot into contention. Talking about Valencia, though, there is rumours saying, that he could participate in this final remaining game, because obviously Valencia's obviously leaving in the summer when his contract term expires. Obviously Man United did have the option to trigger that extension on his contract, but we decided not to, so we know he's leaving in the summer on a free transfer. Valencia has been out for the majority of this season with a calf injury. I think he has now recovered from this injury, and he has returned back to training, so it is possible that Antonio Valencia could be participating in this Cardiff game. I don't think he'll start, but I think he'll maybe get a 5 or 10 minute run out, Antonio Valencia, but he deserves a send off again. Valencia's been a good servant to the club. He's been here a decade. He's made over 300 appearances in all competitions, and he's been a good servant to the club. Won everything here domestically, won the Smack Buzz Player of the Year award back in 2012. So maybe Antonio Valencia could be involved. Luke Shaw, I presume he will be definitely playing at left back, and it has confirmed that Luke Shaw has won the Smack Busby Player of the Year award. So he has won that as Luke Shaw. I think David De Gea, of course, has won that award quite a few times as well. But Luke Shaw's been very, very good. Hasn't done much on as a Manchester United player, not this season, and he's our first choice left back. I think on that left hand side we're okay. I don't think we really need to bolster up on that left hand side, because that's where the majority of our attack comes from, is that left hand side. But yeah, Luke Shaw will be playing in this game against Cardiff. Centre back partnership should be Smalling and Lindelof. Drop Phil Jones. Phil Jones is the problem at Manchester United, and Phil Jones has been here 7-8 years now at Manchester United. He's not good enough to represent Manchester United. He was terrible against Huddersfield, and combining Phil Jones and Chris Smalling, Chris Smalling's a better defender than Phil Jones, but it was a bad mistake for Manchester United, giving Phil Jones a new long-term contract, giving Smalling a new long-term contract, and we do need a world-class central defender. I do think we need some experience in that team. We need a world-class central defender, and an experienced central defender that can go alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. And there's quite a few central defenders on Manchester United's agenda, but yeah, for this game I think it will be Smalling and Lindelof as a centre-back partnership. It will be under Herrera, definitely, in that midfield, of course, he'll be getting his send-off. We know he's leaving now, as I've just said. I think Paul Pogba will get the opportunity in this game. This probably, he's going to be Paul Pogba's last game as a Manchester United player in the Premier League, of course. Obviously, he's expected to join Real Madrid in the summer, is Paul Pogba. Some people say it's pointless, playing Paul Pogba, so maybe some people saying, put McTominay and Fred in that midfield alongside Ander Herrera, dropping Nemanja Matic, of course. Nemanja Matic, I know Nemanja Matic is well Premier League proven, don't get me wrong. I've got reservations about him, though. He's aging up, he's too slow, and yeah, we need to drop Nemanja Matic for this game. So my midfield, as I already give you my update on, probably would be Fred, Pogba and Herrera. It could be McTominay, Pogba and Herrera. But yeah, in this game I would play Paul Pogba, my own preference. Some people say it's pointless, but obviously this is going to be his last game for Manchester United, because it's looking like he's going to be joining Real Madrid in the summer, because obviously he's been talking a lot about Real Madrid as Paul Pogba, quite a few weeks back, and yeah, so that just indicates he's intending on making the move to Madrid this summer. Obviously Zinedine Zidane's a big admirer of the player. Obviously Zinedine Zidane's emphasising his targets for this summer. His two main targets is identified, of course, are Paul Pogba and Chelsea's Eden Hazard. We know, as I did say, it will help us with our rebuilding process, and it will help us with our transition if we can cash in for Paul Pogba and that, and Lukaku and stuff. We could get £200 million plus there. But talking about it, you had Paul Pogba. I think Manchester United want around £160 million for Paul Pogba. It did say Real Madrid were not willing to pay up to the £160 million for Paul Pogba, but we could still get at least £120-130 million for him. But he's been heavily linked with the move to Real Madrid. But obviously, recent reports have said that his relationship with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is slowly fading after they have built a great relationship with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Paul Pogba. But Paul Pogba, of course, has still got 2 years left on his contract, well over 2 years, 3 years with the option of the further year. Manchester United, I think, have been in negotiations to try to get him a new contract. There were reports coming out about 3 weeks ago saying that Man United were willing to offer him the captain's armband on a permanent basis, to convince him to stay at the club. But that's another thing we've got to sort out as well, who's going to be the next captain for Manchester United, because it's looking like it's not going to be Pogba, because he's going to Real Madrid. Obviously, his agent Raiola, at least in the last couple of weeks, has been in the process of finding Paul Pogba a new club. Obviously, Paul Pogba was heavily linked to a move away from Manchester United last year, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. He was linked with his former club Juventus. He was linked with a move to Barcelona. But as you all do know, Paul Pogba's agent Raiola, of course, I think has been given a 3-month transfer ban by the Italian FA. unfair, didn't really provide a reason why. But this means that his agent Raiola can't conduct any transfers in Italy for the next 3 months, I think. So that doesn't affect, obviously, Paul Pogba, making him a move to Real Madrid. It just basically means that, no transfers in Italy can be done by his agent Raiola in the next 3 months. So this will block Paul Pogba, this is going to block Paul Pogba making a move to his former club, Juventus, where he did have 4 good years. But Paul Pogba, has been here since 2016, since he's been with us, he's won the Europa League with us, and obviously, won the League Cup with us, and that was obviously, in Jose Mourinho's first season at Manchester United, when he won them 2 trophies. And but yeah, Paul Pogba didn't get the, had a bad relationship with Jose Mourinho. And Paul Pogba, going back to when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager in his first 3 months, Paul Pogba was one of our most influential players. He was scoring goals, he was providing, but I don't think he did too bad against Huddersfield, Paul Pogba, and he didn't do too bad against Chelsea. But prior to them games, his performances have been way below par. So that just emphasises that he doesn't want to be at Manchester United. Maybe Paul Pogba, wants to be playing amongst world-class players, and he's not getting this at Manchester United. Maybe he wants to be playing to the highest level. Maybe he wants to be up there challenging and winning trophies. And obviously at Manchester United, he's not experiencing this, of course. And, at least a couple of years, from, getting to that level, where we currently want to be. But Real Madrid have got Champions League football to offer Paul Pogba. So yeah, it's looking likely he's going, as I said, if he leaves Paul Pogba, we're going to need 3 new additions in that midfield. But Paul Pogba's 26, he's still in his prime, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. But actually it did say that Real Madrid were not willing to meet his £290,000 a week wages. So it did say reportedly Paul Pogba would have to take a pay cut. But reports were saying the other week that Man United were demanding Rafael Varane and Toni Kroos in exchange for Paul Pogba. But Manchester United have said basically that we want around £160 million for him. But yeah, I think he'll play in this game. Whether he starts not, I do not know, but I think he'll participate in the game, because obviously it's likely it's going to be his final game for Manchester United. Talking about Anthony Martial as well, I think he'll play in the Cardiff game tomorrow, because Anthony Martial hasn't played in the last couple of games for Manchester United. Wasn't even named in the squad against Huddersfield. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, has become really, really frustrated with Anthony Martial, and Martial's infuriated Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, is reflecting on his behaviour and his bad attitude in training. And Anthony Martial's performances have been way below par in the last couple of months. And don't get me wrong, he's a short-term problem at the moment, based on his poor performances. But I still believe Martial is the long-term solution. Obviously, recent reports then have come out saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has changed his perspective on it, and now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made a decision on Martial's future. Now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is deciding to keep Martial. Maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to give Martial at least a year, to prove himself, because he's only still young, hasn't emulated to that level yet. He's 23, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him, and in literally his first choice under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But we do know Martial was linked with a move away from Old Trafford last year under Jose Mourinho, of course, because obviously Jose Mourinho wanted to sell him off, because Jose Mourinho had bad disputes with the board. He also had bad, relationship, with quite a few of the players, and of course one of them was Pogba, one of them was Martial as well. And this is why Jose Mourinho wanted to sell Martial, but Ed Woodward had blocked the move from materialising, and this is why it basically didn't happen. Manchester United give Martial a new 5-year contract back in January. But this is Martial's 4th season now at Manchester United, and reflecting back when we got him as a 19-year-old in his first season, we were really, really good. Martial as a 19-year-old, Man United got him in a deal worth around £36 million, rising up to £57 or £58 million, based on goals and achievements. And this season, I think early on this season he was in really, really good form, Martial, but in the last couple of months he has failed to replicate that Anthony Martial. So I think he should be in contention, to play him against Cardiff. I would drop Marcus Rashford, because Marcus Rashford's been very, very poor. Marcus Rashford, as I said, I still believe is the long-term solution. We do know what Rashford can be capable of, because he can be like lightning, he can get them runs in behind, he can score goals. But Rashford in his last couple of months, his performances have been way below par. And we do know he's sustained quite a few injuries. I think it's taking its toll on him. It's had a bad effect on his game, Marcus Rashford. So yeah, Marcus Rashford, I would drop him in this game against Cardiff. And I do know you can play him on the left-hand side, but Rashford, seems to be more effective, when he's playing centrally. But Rashford knows what it's all about. He's been United player since the age of 7. Risen up the ranks with us fantastically well for a lot of years. Been in the senior squad with us since 2016, and he's 21 years of age, and he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. But I've been very, very disappointed, with Marcus Rashford's performances. But I wouldn't consider putting him up for sale. About he's only 20. 21. You know, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. He hasn't graduated to that level yet, so give him time. So drop him in this game, I'd do. Jesse Lingard, don't think he'll play in this game again. His performances have been way below par in the last couple of months. He's 27 years of age and he knows what it's all about, and he's more experienced than obviously, you know, Marshall and Rashford, because Jesse Lingard is 27 years of age, but we do know what Jesse Lingard, you know, can be capable of on that right hand side. But Jesse Lingard's performances have been extremely poor indeed in the last couple of months. Lukaku, we do know, I don't think he'll be playing in this game because Lukaku, of course, has sustained a hamstring injury, and he's a player I'd let go in the summer, because we could, you know, try and, you know, recoup the initial £75 million we paid for him. You know, Lukaku's heavily linked with a move to Juventus, he's heavily linked with a move to Inter Milan, and I think Lukaku is intending on making the move to Italy this summer, because I think he dreams about playing in the Serie A. Lukaku, obviously, you know, this season he's enjoyed a difficult second season with Manchester United. You know, hasn't really, you know, hit the ground running. Lukaku, and he, to be fair, Rashford's been mainly first choice ahead of Lukaku. But I think Lukaku can perform well when he's getting that support up front. He kind of look a bit more effective. But for me, just not reliable enough. Hasn't got the quality, you know, to play to the highest level. Lukaku, he can score goals because his pedigree is very, very good in the Premier League. He scored a lot of goals in the Premier League. But as I did say, you know, Man United paid big money for him. You know, we paid £75 million for him, plus 15 million in add-ons, which had risen the deal to £90 million. He's got 3 years left on his contract. He's on about £250,000 a week. Is Romelu Lukaku. But yeah, I think he's intending on making the move to Juventus. But he was good in his first season with United. You know, he scored 27 goals in all competitions. But yeah, I think he needs to go in the summer. Does Romelu Lukaku? Alexis Sanchez now, he's got an ankle injury, so he won't be participating tomorrow, I don't think. And Alexis Sanchez, you know, as I did currently say, I will keep saying, you know, I think his wages are totally having a bad effect on the club, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. He's the highest paid player at the club, he's the highest paid player in the Premier League, and, you know, reflecting back when we got Alexis Sanchez, you know, 15, 16 months ago, I thought he'd been a fundamental player, you know, analysing, you know, what he did at Arsenal, because he was fantastic at Arsenal. The majority of his goals at Arsenal, you know, came up front. Obviously, Alexis Sanchez, well, you know, when he was younger, played under Pep Guardiola. You know, he played under Pep Guardiola. You know, one of the best managers in the world, of course, in terms of achievements and success and that. So I thought when we got Sanchez, you know, 15, 16 months ago, you know, he would have been a fundamental player for us. And it just hasn't worked out, you know, to be quite honest. So as I did say, it doesn't always prove you getting the elite players. It doesn't mean it's going to get you to that level, you know, where you want to be. And Alexis Sanchez is a prime example of that. But let's be honest, Alexis Sanchez is no longer playing to the highest level. You know, he's age 30. He has lost that yard of pace. And at Manchester United, he hasn't really had the chance. But when he has had the chance, you know, it just looks so restricted. Just looks as though he hasn't been getting that freedom to express himself. So I think for us to get rid of him this summer, Man United will have to try and pay half his wages off. You know, because there won't be many teams out there, you know, that can afford to pay Alexis Sanchez's wages off. So yeah, he's definitely one of the players that's on the list that should be leaving Manchester United this summer. And I think now this is his fourth injury now he's sustained as a Manchester United player. He just recently recovered from an injury, Alexis Sanchez. So he's becoming injury prone as a Manchester United player. But yeah, he's got to go in the summer, Alexis Sanchez. So I don't know if he won't be playing against Cardiff because obviously, you know, he's got an ankle injury. Eric Bailly for me, you know, I think he needs to go in the summer. Whether he does or not, I do not know. I like him a lot. He's got great potential. I've been hearing rumours saying that Arsenal have been linked with him. Eric Bailly, those two injury prone. He's got great potential, but he's struggling to get in the team, is Eric Bailly, because Solskjaer's preferred the likes of Smalling and Phil Jones ahead of Eric Bailly. So yeah, I think Eric Bailly, you know, could be on his way out. I think Manchester United paid around £30 million to him from Villarreal back in 2016, and this was under the Jose Mourinho tenure. Jose Mourinho obviously, you know, spent just under £400 million on the 11 players. Yeah, he got 11 players in, but I think Eric Bailly was actually, you know, the first signing out of those 11 players, and obviously those 11 players we got under Mourinho, some of them now at this moment in time, they are the problem at Manchester United. So I think, yeah, Eric Bailly, you know, could be on his way out, and he's injured now at the moment. So yeah, so that's me. As I've already given my starting 11 prediction, you know, for the Manchester United Cardiff game anyway. So, as I did say, you know, with De Gea as well, you know, could he be possibly, you know, leaving Manchester United in the summer now? I think, yeah, he'll be definitely playing against Cardiff, I should presume, because I think Romero's still injured. De Gea, as I said, you know, Manchester United have not yet come to an agreement to get David De Gea a new contract at the club. Obviously, maybe a goalkeeper of David De Gea's calibre, you know, wants to be playing to the highest level, you know, wants to be up there challenging for trophies and winning trophies. And obviously, as I said, Manchester United are at least a couple of years off doing that. De Gea is 28 years of age. Again, I've admired his fantastic career at Manchester United. De Gea's so far, he's been here 8 years. He's made over 300 appearances in all competitions for Manchester United. He's won the club's player of the year 4 times out of the last 5 years based on his amazing performances. Also, he's won the Smack Busby Player of the Year award, quite a few times. I think he's won that 3 times in the last 4 seasons as David De Gea. But as I did say, he did well against Huddersfield, made some good saves. Prior to the Huddersfield game, he was making quite a lot of costly mistakes. There was De Gea. But hopefully somewhere along the line, we can get David De Gea a new contract. We know Manchester United have been in negotiations getting him a new contract. Obviously, if Man United can't come to any agreement to get him this new contract, obviously we'll want to cash in for him this summer rather than letting go on a free in the summer of 2020. David De Gea has been heavily linked to a move to a £90 million move to PSG. Real Madrid, of course, have been long admirers of him. Real Madrid were actually on the brink of getting him back in 2015, but due to some kind of fax machine, the deal didn't materialise. So David De Gea, remained loyal to the club, and he's still here now. But PSG have been heavily linked to him. It did say PSG were willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands, and I think this is what he's demanding off Manchester United. But I think Man United are willing to offer him around £300,000 a week, but I don't think we're willing to offer him £350,000 a week. So if De Gea is to leave the club, obviously we're definitely going to need a replacement for David De Gea. I know we've got Lee Grant as a backup option, but I think Lee Grant could also go in the summer. Obviously we've got Lee Grant, did we get him from Stoke City last summer, if I can remember? I might be wrong about that. I think it was Stoke City. We got him in the last summer transfer window. I can't remember how much we paid for him, but yeah, he's there as a backup option because obviously Sergio Romero is injured at the moment. But yeah, we're going to have to find a replacement for David De Gea, of course, if he does leave. And saying, there's been a lot of, targets, that Manchester United, of course, have been interested in, as you all currently know. And I think, we have got a pursuit in our, we have got a transfer boost in our pursuit of, Sporting Lisbon's Bruno Fernandes, because Bruno Fernandes has been heavily linked with a move to Manchester United, and he has been on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's agenda, because I do believe we need creativeness in that midfield. We do need someone that can pose a goal threat. We do need someone that can score goals from that midfield, and Bruno Fernandes, can do that. And he's been heavily linked with a move to Manchester City. It did say Manchester City, we're in talks with Sporting Lisbon over around a £47 million deal for Bruno Fernandes. It did say City were willing to offer 1 or 2 of their players as part of the deal, but now, as it does currently say, City now have reportedly culled their interest in him, so that basically means that they've pulled out of the race for Bruno Fernandes. So now this gives the opportunity now for Manchester United, to go in for Bruno Fernandes. His initial release clause is £86 million. I think it did say he could be available for around £50 million this summer. Manchester United, could emphasise him as a replacement for Paul Pogba, because obviously Bruno Fernandes is primarily an attacking midfielder. But as I did say, I think he produced and delivered the same element of the performances, that he has been doing this season with Sporting Lisbon. If he was to come to the Premier League, he's got a contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. But yeah, and he had a lot of experience playing in Italy, when he was young, with Udinese and San Pandora. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer basically, was demanding Manchester United, to go sign him for around £85 million. But now we've got a great chance of getting Bruno Fernandes on the board, and I think he'd do very, very well in our midfield with Bruno Fernandes. Score them goals for us. I think he's scored about 30 odd goals this season for Sporting Lisbon. I think he's provided about 16 or 17 assists, and he's only 24 years of age, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. I think he's about 5'10" or something, but he's been heavily linked with a move to Old Trafford. Man United have been scouting him quite a while now, reflecting on his impressive performances this season. City would be much more of the attractive option, for a player of Bruno Fernandes' calibre, but I think City have dropped their interest now, and Manchester United are in there for him, so we've still got a great chance of getting him on the board. So we'd see him as a good replacement for Paul Pogba. Obviously, there was a lot of talks going on yesterday, of course, in the media, guys, as you all are aware of, in regards to Daniel James from Swansea. And it did say, in Sky Sports yesterday, Manchester United, were close to agreeing a deal for around £15 million for Daniel James from Swansea. Daniel James is only 21 years of age, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made it clear, he wants to recommend young players, to come to Manchester United this summer. And obviously, Daniel James is young. Obviously, it did say Man United were closing on a deal, as I said, for around £15 million for him. He's 21. He's primarily a winger, so I think he's supposed to be more effective from that left-hand side. I think you can put him on the right, but I think he's supposed to be more effective from that left-hand side. I think Daniel James can also play as an attacking midfielder, but we do know that Daniel James is a championship player. Daniel James has only got a year left on his contract with Swansea, but quite a few teams have attracted their interest in Daniel James, reflecting on his impressive performances in the championship this season with Swansea. As I did currently say, I think Swansea got him from Hull City for around £72,000. I think he's been in the senior squad with Swansea about 15 or 16 months, but there has been a lot of talks about him going on in the media. I think it did say Leeds were on the brink of getting him in January. Leeds United were on the brink of getting him in January for around 8.5 million, but it never. His move to Ellen Road never materialised because I think Swansea pulled out of the deal, right at the final hurdle. But yeah, Daniel James, he's only 21 years of age, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. So this could be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first signing this summer, but he is a low expectation. Looking at it though, he's a cheap acquisition, and to be fair, as I did say, maybe we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer, because that £15 million could prove to be a reasonable figure. If he comes to Manchester United and he delivers the goods, he's proven it fantastically well with Swansea City. But yeah, that could be one of our first signings. But I think, as I did say, on that left hand side, I think we're okay. Obviously, if Martial left, obviously we'd need someone on that left. Obviously, it's looking likely Sanchez is leaving. But yeah, there's been a lot of talks about Daniel James going on. So his name has been mentioned a lot. And Joe Felix from Benfica, Man United do continue to be linked with Joe Felix from Benfica. It also said that Man City were interested in Joe Felix. Joe Felix is 19 years of age. He is Portuguese. Buyout clause around £100 million. Think he's primarily an attacking midfielder. Can put him on the wing. Can put him as a striker. So he is versatile. Man United have been scouting for a number of months now, reflecting on his impressive performances this season. Only his first season in his senior squad with Benfica, but Man United have been linked to him, for quite a while. Also said Manchester City have been interesting, but he's mainly a midfielder, but you can put him on the wing. Other midfielders that have been mentioned, there's been a lot of talks about West Ham's Declan Rice, and I really like him. Well, Premier League proven. I think potentially, when he was a youngster, he began his youth career with Chelsea as a 7-year-old, and he spent like a number of years in Chelsea's youth system. Left them at the age of 14. Now he's done well at West Ham. He's been in the West Ham senior squad, for quite a few years. So looking at it, you can say he's learned. He's well Premier League proven, and he's learned his trade in the Premier League as Declan Rice. And this season, his performances have been fantastic. As I said, mainly defensive midfielder, can play as a centre back, but primarily defensive midfielder. Good energetic midfielder, breaks up the play very, very well, and his performances this season under Manuel Pellegrini have been very, very impressive. I think it's supposed to be valued at around 40 or 50 million pounds, so he's available for a reasonable figure. Only 20 years of age, one of England's youngest upcoming talents, so he's also being mentioned in the media. But the question is, who could replace Ander Herrera? There has been talks of Everton's Idrissa Gueye going on. He's been linked with a move to Manchester United. It hasn't been a main priority target, but his name has been mentioned a few times. He's actually the same age as Ander Herrera. Ander Herrera's 29, Idrissa Gueye is 29. Look at combining them together, you can say Ander Herrera's had better of the career than Idrissa Gueye. But Idrissa Gueye is still a good player. He's well Premier League proven. He's been at Everton a number of years now. Obviously, he's an energetic midfielder. He can press opponents. He can tackle well. Very, very good player. 29 though, aging up. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't want to bring any short-term players in. And he's 29 years of age. He's a Senegal international. But I think the majority of his appearances in the Premier League have obviously become as an Everton player. Obviously, before he spent one season with Aston Villa, but I think Everton paid around just over £7 million for him from Villa. But I think he's got a contract with Everton until 2022. Got this renewed in February of last year, probably based on his amazing performances, that he has done for Everton. But yeah, been a lot of talks about him. Reports were saying a while back could be available for around 25-30 million pounds this summer, considering that he's aging up and all that. And PSG actually inquired about getting Idrissa Gueye back in January, but I think at that time Everton wanted around 40 million pounds for him, and PSG I think had a couple of bids turned down for him, so he didn't make the move to PSG. So Idrissa Gueye has also been mentioned. Saul Niguez, he's a name that's also been mentioned. So these are a lot of names that have currently been mentioned. Who could coming as our midfielders. We need someone to replace Pogba. I think Bruno Fernandes would be the right player to replace Pogba. Not too sure about Ander Herrera. Do you think Solna Gears would be the right replacement for Herrera? Do you think Idrissa Gueye would be the right replacement for Herrera? And this is something we've got to sort out in the summer, and this is why we've got to be ruthless in this summer transfer window. I know we haven't got Champions League football for next season, but we've got to get our number one priority targets. But I think our transfer strategy is going to be very, very surprising this summer, because Solskjaer wants to bring a number of young players in, but maybe he wants to see players young, grow and develop and emulate into superstars. Because as I did say, it's not all about spending big on players, as Manchester United have got a history of doing. It doesn't always guarantee you to get you to that commanding position where you do currently want to be. So let's see who he brings him anywhere. Central defenders, now, as I do keep saying, there's been quite a few names mentioned. De Ligt's been a potential Manchester United target for Ajax. There has been a lot of talks about him going on. I think he did mention that Manchester United have got like some kind of concerns about his weight or something, saying he's too fat or something like that. I don't know the full thing. I didn't read the full article. But talking about De Ligt, I think he's actually going to make the move to Barcelona. And it actually said in the media yesterday, Barcelona and Ajax have come to an agreement on a £60 million deal. So Barcelona and Ajax have agreed a £60 million deal, because I think he's supposed to be valued at around 60 or 70 odd million pounds is the player. But I think obviously De Ligt's agent, of course, is Raiola, and reportedly did say Raiola reportedly has delayed De Ligt's move to Barcelona at the moment, because reportedly Raiola is demanding 20% cut of the £60 million deal reportedly. But De Ligt, very, very good player, only 19 years of age. It did basically say from Edwin van der Sar's perspective, he's very confident. He's very convinced, he's Edwin van der Sar, that De Ligt will make the move to England or Spain next season. So this is where he thinks he'll go. So he thinks basically De Ligt will be plying his trade in England or Spain next season, because obviously De Ligt's obviously spent the entirety of his career. The entirety of his career so far, with Ajax, and he's been a very, very good player. He's been an Ajax player, since a child. I think he's been an Ajax player since the age of 9. I think he joined their youth system at the age of 9, and I think he's been in the senior squad a number of years now with Ajax. I think he's become more of a first team starter. Did De Ligt, when Davinson Sanchez, departed Ajax. But as I did say with Ajax have got a very, very good young team. Obviously, Barcelona have already completed a deal for Frankie de Jong. Currently De Ligt's teammate. Barcelona got him for around £75 million last summer. They agreed the fee with Ajax last summer for £75 million, Frankie de Jong, but it's a year in advance, so Frankie de Jong is going to be officially a Barcelona player in the new season. So and it's also said Liverpool have expressed an interest in De Ligt. Liverpool have expressed an interest in him. Obviously, Liverpool got Virgil van Dijk £75 million. Obviously, that's the most expensive defender at the moment. Of course, Liverpool got him 16 months ago, and he's addressed Liverpool's defensive deficiencies, fantastically well. But as I said, Virgil van Dijk knows De Ligt very, very well, because obviously Van Dijk's Dutch, obviously, De Ligt's Dutch, so they know each other very, very well. But yeah, it could be looking likely, De Ligt is going to make the move to Barcelona. But I'd love him to come to the Premier League. I'd love him to come and experience the Premier League facilities, as I said. But he's currently the captain at Ajax, and I think he's the only defender, to win the Golden Boy award. But yeah, Manchester United have been linked with him. Been a lot of talks, of course, about Harry Maguire from Leicester. There has been a lot of talks about him going on. I like Harry Maguire a lot, and I think he's a really, really good player. He's well Premier League proven. Obviously, I think it did say basically Man United may be willing to break the world transfer record for the central defender this summer. I don't think we'd intend on doing it with Harry Maguire, even though previously Harry Maguire has previously been valued at around 75 or 80 million pounds. Manchester United, of course, were heavily linked with Harry Maguire last summer, but obviously, we didn't come to an agreement to get him. I think he's now made 100 appearances in the Premier League, but Harry Maguire is a very, very good player. Well, Premier League proven. I think he's been at Leicester a couple of seasons now. Leicester paid around £17 million for him. Obviously, Harry Maguire last summer signed a new long-term contract with Leicester, so he's under contract with Leicester now until 2023. Is Harry Maguire. But yeah, Manchester United have been linked with him. He did say Manchester United are set to revive our interest in him. But yeah, he's tall as well, which is very, very beneficial. His defensive abilities are very, very good. He's good at latching on from set pieces. So yeah, there has been a hell of a lot of talks about Harry Maguire going on. still in his mid-20s, 26 years of age, in his prime. You know, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. So would you recommend Harry Maguire, you know, to come to Manchester United? Of course, you think he'd blend in very, very well alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. Obviously, Harry Maguire is a former Hull City player, where Leicester, you know, potentially, you know, got him from. Obviously, you know, when he was a lot younger, he began his career with Sheffield United. Harry Maguire, I think Harry Maguire played around 166 professional games for Sheffield United, you know, when he was younger. But yeah, he's had a good career so far. But maybe a player of Harry Maguire's calibre, you know, wants to be playing to the highest level, wants to be in Champions League football, and he was talking about this a while back. But if Manchester United, you know, could get him on the board, you know, we've got the financial power to meet his valuation, and I think, you know, we can double his wages. Of course, you know, we've got the financial power, of course, you know, to double his wages of what he's currently on at the moment with Leicester. So yeah, Man United may go in for him in the summer. Other central defenders Man United have been interesting. We do know there's been talks of, you know, Tottenham's Toby Alderweireld. Again, he's a much cheaper alternative to the likes of the Koulibalys and the, you know, the Rafael Varans and all that. Nowhere near the same level, but, you know, looking at it, Toby Alderweireld is a cheap alternative. You know, available for £25 million this summer. Well, Premier League proven, of course, and I still believe would be a good upgrade in our defence of what we've currently got at the moment. So he could still possibly, you know, come to Manchester United in the summer Alderweireld. So these a lot of central defenders on Manchester United's agenda. You know, the likes of Koulibaly, obviously if we've got any chance of getting him, obviously we're going to have to pay him a world record fee for him, at least of around 100 or 110 million pounds. But Manchester United, of course, have been long admirers of Koulibaly. So yeah, there's a lot of central defenders on Manchester United's agenda, but it's very essential that we've got to get one in this summer. Obviously, we need a right back as well. As I said, you know, someone to replace Valencia at the club. You know, we need an upgrade to Ashley Young. I know we've got Diego Dalot, but we need an upgrade to Diego Dalot. But yeah, we've been interested in quite a few right backs, and that's another position where Manchester United, of course, need strengthening up. But the main part of this video was to give you an update on in regards to Ander Herrera. It's been officially confirmed by the club, and I think it's been confirmed by himself that he's leaving the club at the end of the season. He's joining PSG on a free transfer. As I said, I think he's going to get around 150, 160,000 pounds a week. Very, very bad business for Manchester United, of course, you know, letting him go on a free transfer, because we know how much of an essential player he is to Manchester United, and we know how much of an essential player he has been to Manchester United in his 5 years he has been here. Obviously, I think he has had rough tenures during his I think he has had rough patches during his Manchester United tenure. Didn't really get the chances from the start under Jose Mourinho and all that. And but yeah, he's been a very, very good loyal servant to the club, and it's a shame that Ander Herrera is leaving. So now, obviously, we've got to go in that market now in the summer and get a replacement for Ander Herrera, because let's be honest, you know, there is better midfielders out there than Ander Herrera, but it's just seeing, you know, which one we currently are going to get in. So we've been in this similar situation before, you know, with players, you know, having good careers at Manchester United and leaving. You know, we saw it with Wayne Rooney. He had a good 12 years there with Manchester United. Was it around 12 years or 13 years? You know, he's our all-time leading goal scorer with 253 goals. You know, we saw it with Cristiano Ronaldo. He had 6 good years there with Manchester United. But yeah, it just happens in football. You know, sometimes your best players go, and yeah, so we've got to get over Ander Herrera and see if we can get him as a replacement. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribing to the channel, as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.